Why do we spend countless hours and dollars out in our shop working on our cars, tinkering with our boats, putting together our motorcycles? I've always been curious what it is behind all of it. So I'm going to go out and talk to some people. And we're going to find out why.
This time I'm up in Snohomish, Washington talking to Mike Lavallee. Besides just being a cool dude, Mike is an ultra-talented artist that scorches sheet metal with his own brand of flames. The inventor of True Fire sits down and tells us what drives him.
I paint because I have to. And that's the only way I can explain it. Is if I had another job, if I was at Boeing, okay, riveting planes together, I would still come home and paint because I have to. Not because it's what I do for a living, it's because it's part of me. It's like, it's almost like, you know, the guy who's got the problem, like cleaning his hands, he's got to wash his hands like 47 times. It's just like that with me. It's just like, when I'm driving, I'm thinking about different designs, or if I see something, I lock it up in here, because I'm a very visual person. Mm-hmm. Names, forget it. I'm the worst with names and numbers, okay? But if I saw an image that, just driving by at 70 miles an hour, and I saw something, oh man, that's really cool, it's already in there. Mm-hmm. And I can retrieve that years down the road, going, oh, I remember that time I was going down there, and I remember the light and the way it looked, and the color, and mm-hmm. Boom, I can do it like that. So I'm constantly doing that all the time. In a restaurant, I may be doodling, or if I'm on the phone with somebody, I'm drawing a cool, you know, yeah. I have to do it, not that I just want to do it. Stella came to me, I had two custom vehicles. I had a Lightning, custom Lightning pickup truck that was done for, it was a show truck. I mean, it had all the bells and whistles, hydraulic tailgate and tonneau cover and full stereo system. The whole bed of the truck was nothing but amps and 12-inch subs and all that. It was meant for hauling wood. You know, and yeah, so the thing was badass, just a really nice truck. Made cover of magazines, top 10 trucking magazine, top 10 truck of the year, and really made the cover of Trucking Magazine. Yeah. Anyways, I traded that to a buddy of mine who's got a bunch of cars, and I tried to sell him the truck. He goes, "Well, I'll trade you." It's like, "Well, what do you got to trade?" And he's like, "Well, I got this '51 Ford, and I got a 51 Merc," and I said, "Hold it. Bring the Merc by. Let me take a look at it." And when he brought it by, it was, you know, it was a nice '90s custom 51 Merc, 2-door, chopped, channeled. Nice, but some things about it I hated. So we made a deal, and I traded the truck and for the Merc, and then I started making it mine. That's when I really started taking stuff apart. I drove around for a couple months, and then I said, you know what? I know what I want this car to look like. It's a good base. It's a driver, but I need some cosmetic changes. So I went under cosmetic surgery, went under the knife. I poked her eyes out, pulled her teeth out, took all her guts out of her. We took her head off, you know, chopped the top, dropped it down. That's right now, it's in Los Angeles right now being that. So it went down, it was already down about 3 inches from the stock. We went down another 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So
now,
6.5 total inch chop.
Yeah, 6.5 to 7. Because I don't know what the guy did. I thought it was 3, maybe 3.5. Anyways, all I know is that the side windows are now 7 inches tall. So, like I said, you can, if you go to Starbucks, you can only order a grande. If you want anything bigger, you got to turn it sideways and pull it in the window and then in. It's got an 11-inch windshield, 5.5-inch quarter glass. It's gonna be badass. When it's dumped on air, because it's already channeled, so it's sitting down over the frame. When it's dumped on air and sitting on the ground, it'll only be 48 inches tall from the top of the roof to the ground. Friend of mine, an alien. He's from another planet. Okay, he's from South Carolina, but they put them there. The aliens put him there. And the stuff that he does is insane. You need to check out his stuff. DrewBlair.com.
Yeah, I'll be putting that picture of
you have
the girl's face he
Yeah,
did.
Tika? The girl Tika he did?
Tika.
Yeah. I was teaching, he asked me to go teach at his class, at his school. I'm like, what? Teach him how not to do it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Drew, I was intimidated galore.
Really?
Intimidations galore, right? And I was like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be great. I'm like, Drew, how can I go to your school where your stuff is on the wall and it looks like photographs, okay? And you want me to go teach them, hey, how you doing? Let's go paint some fire, right? So I'm over there doing Drew's, painting over at Drew's school, teaching my class, doing my little thing, and they loved it. But I see that painting Tika on the wall, and I had to go see it. For me, it was like going to Disneyland.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm of an age now where I got to wear, reading glasses. I got my glasses on, and I'm this close to that painting, and I'm picking it apart, right? Looking for something. There's nothing.
Flawless.
There's nothing. I wanted to go freaking shoot myself in the woods. Pow. What was that? Where's Mike? Mike's gone. Mike saw Tika. He's done. Well, when I moved out here, I had dealt mostly with motorcycles. I did motorcycle rallies all over the country, Daytona, Myrtle Beach, Sturgis, everywhere. People knew me at bike rallies for painting at bike rallies. And when I moved out here, I didn't want to travel anymore. So I started doing more hot rod stuff. Like people brought me their hot rods to do, or I went to their place, and then somebody said, you need to go to the Seattle Roadster Show, which is an indoor show, which all right, I'll go. Set up my little, I got the money to get a booth in there, and I set up a little 10 by 10 booth, and it was the day before the show opened, so everyone's setting up, all the people are putting up their booths, the cars are coming in and cleaning them, getting all their things set up. I'm all done setting up my deal, so I figured I might as well walk around and look at the show before I don't have a chance to, because once you're in your booth and the show starts, you're not going anywhere for a pee break maybe, that's about it. So I'm walking around the show, and I'm towards the front where and I know it now, I didn't know what it was then, but they put all the show cars, the premium, what do you call them?
The high-end.
The feature cars.
Yeah.
All the feature cars are right out in front, up by the front door, so when you walk in, ta-da, you see them, right? Well, I'm walking along, and I see this black douche roadster up on stanchions, white carpet. It's got an aluminum railing around the thing with these really cool little spotlights all around it. Really nice setup, mirrors underneath the car, wheels are off the car, and there's a guy underneath the car wearing white booties on and white cotton gloves, and he's polishing up underneath the fender. He's like, I'm like, who polishes the underside of a car? And this is my first time seeing this stuff, I mean, I've been to a couple hot rod shows, but never like that. I said, what the hell is that guy doing underneath the fender? And he was just polishing away and everything. And this thing was like a piece of artwork. It wasn't a car, it was sculpture. But I looked down the side of the car, and there's an orange pinstripe down the side of the car. Just one little pinstripe. And right in front of the door, there's a little scratch right through the stripe. And I'm thinking, if this guy is underneath the car and he's worrying about polishing the underside of the fender, he's gonna want to know about that scratch and the stripe. So I said to him, he's still underneath there, and he doesn't even know I'm there. I go, I can fix that scratch and that stripe. He almost hit his head on the car. What scratch? And it goes right there in the pinstripe. Oh my God! He goes, when can you fix it? I said, I can't do it till tomorrow. I told him who I was and what I did, and I can't do it till tomorrow morning before the show, And she says, all right, what do you charge me? I go, I don't know, $20, just for my trouble. Buy me lunch or whatever. So I come down, and it was simple. It was just one shot orange, simple. fixed it, was done, right? He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll come by and I'll pay you later. I'm like, okay.
Sure, dude.
Okay, bye. I'm thinking, whatever, you know what I mean? So I go back to my booth and I spend the day talking to customers. It was about halfway through that first day. I was talking to my buddy Greg Reed. He was sitting in the booth with me, and here comes this guy up the aisle. He's got another guy with him. He walks up to me and he's like, this is Mike. He's the one that fixed your stripe on the car. And this guy hands me a $20 bill. He goes, hey, I really appreciate you fixing that for me. He goes, my name's Chip. I'm like, hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I didn't know who this guy was. Mm-hmm. I know who Willie G. Davidson is.
Yeah.
I know who, Perowitz is. I know who,
all these bike guys.
Arlen Ness. I know all those guys. Yeah, those are like, oh.
Yeah.
Right? This red-haired guy, I'm Chip. Oh, that's great. Hi, nice to meet you. He goes, I really appreciate you fixing my car, and da-da-da. I'm like, well, yeah, no problem. My pleasure, And then he's looking at my booth. He goes, this stuff's bitching. And he looks up and he sees this lion head that I did. I call it the Hellion. Mm-hmm. It's just a lion head, but the mane is fire.
Oh.
So it's like a roll.
So you were doing the True Fire thing by then?
That was the very first thing that I did it. I just had my neighbor had these little flashcards you used to get as a kid, information about the animals of the savannah, right? Well, she didn't want them anymore. She goes, I know you're paying wildlife, so if you want these, and well, yeah, I took them and went through them. And I saw this lion, and the lion was yawning. And I instantly saw this image in my head of this lion roaring with glowing eyes, and his mane was just fire. So I painted it, and it came out really cool. I still have it to this day. And it was up in a frame on the wall, and he's like, hey, is that for sale? I'm like, no, not really. I can paint one for you. That's kind of like my favorite. Mm-hmm. He's like, would you be willing to do that technique you did on the mane of that lion on a car if I flew you down to California? I'm like, sure. So he takes my card, and he goes, I'll call you. He takes off. My buddy goes, you know who that was? No. He goes, that was Chip Foose. I go, who the hell's Chip Foose? He goes, that car that you fixed the stripe on? I go, yeah. He goes, he built that car. I'm like, yeah. So he goes, no. He built that car from scratch. Like, made wooden bucks, hammered the metal, get it all down. That car was hand built.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. He goes, this guy deals with all kinds of high-dollar cars, and he's pretty famous. He goes, you are so in. I'm like,
whatever, dude.
If he ever calls me back, whatever, because at shows, you get that all the time. I'll call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be back. They always go into the be back bus. I'll be back. You never see him again. Mm-hmm. And, well, next thing you know, Chip calls me. And I go down there, and I did this. It was like a 50-something black pickup truck. Mm-hmm. Did that stuff on it. And then that got in a trucking magazine, or Classic Trucks. It was on the cover, or maybe it was just a centerfold. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first area that True Fire got out. Well, from that, I went down and did another vehicle for him, the Mother's Wax PT Cruiser sedan delivery. That's when PT Cruisers first came out. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But it was cool because they made it into a sedan delivery, and put that same exact paint job on there. Oh. With the Mother's logo, and that went to SEMA. So SEMA,
wow,
it got a lot of oh my God, where did this come from?
Yeah.
No one
Fire.
No one had seen this before. They had only seen hot rod flames, traditional hot rod flames, and all that. So it was huge. That got in another magazine, a couple other magazines. Well, from there, I get a phone call to go down because Jesse James wanted me to go down and do Monster Garage.
Oh.
And I got on the phone with him, and he says, I want you to come down and do Monster Garage. And the very first one I did was the Ranchero Mechanical Bull. I did several of them, but
oh yeah, okay.
Just a reference, just to reference which one it was. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. He goes, I'll put you on TV. He goes, what are you gonna do for me? I'm like, what do you want? He goes, I want you to paint that fire you do on my GMC pickup truck. I'm like, okay. Figured I'm gonna take advantage of this. Now this is where that opportunity, meets
preparation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I knew that I was gonna go down there and do the TV show. That was great. I'm all for it. But what I was really interested in is doing my fire, because I kind of had my hands tied a little bit on the other two, because Chip really wanted me to do the fire like the mane on the line, which looks like red hair. I wanted to do more realistic fire. Yeah, I just do what the client asked me to do, right?
Yeah.
So I go down there and I do this truck. Now I'm doing it my way. and I put this fire down the side of the truck, and it embers off towards the back of the truck. And I did the fire on the hood and did a skull with a beanie with a West Coast Chopper logo.
Whoa.
And then I did CFL, which is Choppers for Life, over the top of that, but I made it look like it was embossed.
Oh?
Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So it looks like the hood was embossed with this artwork painted over the top of it with CFL embossed in it. And then when Jesse saw that, him and his guy that was with him looked at me and looked at Billy, and they got a smile from ear to ear. And like they knew. And I knew
That thing was going to blow up.
that thing was going to blow up because Jesse would drive the piss out of that thing. And they got into AutoZone commercials.
Wow.
So now it's got national recognition now. Okay, so there's Jesse James driving around in a truck I did with my fire on it that no one's seen before. Got into several other magazines. From there, he called me down to do several more monster garages.
Mm-hmm.
And I did Kid Rock's motorcycle,
Wow.
his motorcycle, some other ones for some celebrities of his.
The Dukes of Hazzard motorcycle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one they rode to Copper
Uh-huh.
Canyon. Yeah, I did that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I did the artwork on it.
Uh-huh.
I think Damon's did the base color on
Uh-huh.
that, and then I did anyways. So that was cool. So now I'm getting more and more, exposure because of this stuff, right? And then I get more and more jobs because of it. And then next thing I know, Chip calls me up, and he wants me to go do overhauling. So I was actually down doing another monster garage
Oh.
when I got the call. So I went from there
Score.
right over to Long Beach, okay, Huntington Beach rather,
Mhm.
and from Long Beach to Huntington Beach, and then it did the very first overhauling that I did. And from there I did several other ones. Then I get my own 1-hour special. They did a show on the art of the flame, and they got so much good material. That's the one with the helicopter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So they got so
In
much
the black coupe.
in the black 34. Yeah. They said they got so much good material over there, and that's where I named True Fire. Okay. They got so much good material that they said we're going to give you your own episode. I'm like, sweet. From that, I got over almost 5 million hits in 1 week.
Damn!
Okay. And it just snowballed.
Yeah.
And then I did rides, overhauling rides, Hot Rod TV, Miami Inc.,
Yeah.
Rock the Boat, Evening Magazine, several other shows.
Wow, so just like a whirlwind type of deal.
And here's the thing, okay? That changed my life. It really did. I mean, I was doing pretty well. I mean, in the bike world, people knew who I was, and I was building up my reputation over here. And the thing that's really cool about it is all that happened. All that happened because of a single stroke of a paintbrush. One little tiny of a paintbrush changed my life. Okay? If I didn't go there and fix that stripe, I may not have met Chip.
Yeah.
Chip may not have come up that aisle. He may have been too busy and got pulled somewhere else. And so my whole life changed
Off just a one little deal.
because of one little tiny deal. So, like, if you're ever late and you miss your flight and you're all pissed off at the airport, son of a bitch, I missed
Yeah,
my
yeah.
flight, and I'm gonna da-da-da. But things happen for a reason.
Totally.
Okay? If you miss that flight, that plane could go down and you could save yourself. Or you could be sitting next to somebody for the next flight that you need to meet,
Mm-hmm.
that you never would have met
Yeah.
if you had made that flight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm kind of gotten to a point in my life where
Just go with the flow.
I go with the flow because I know there's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. Retarded.
Retarded. Mike Lavallee's retarded.
He's a retard. I don't mean that in a bad way.
I need to quit saying your name wrong. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'm just doing it to be funny.
I know. I'm laughing on the inside.
It smiles in here, dude,
Yeah.
but out here,
Yeah. I am roaring on the inside. Roaring.
So how would they describe you?
Vertically challenged.
Sensitive.
Lilliputianist. A hobbit. No, just creative, I guess. Yeah, just like very creative.
Passionate.
passionate, creative, sexy. All right, sexy I am. I ooze sexiness.
You ooze it, huh?
Yes,
So is that what that smell is?
Yeah, I hemorrhage sexy.
You can't really get it on the camera, but there's a smell.
Need some smell-o-vision.
Kind of like maybe cookies or something.
Cookies and isocyanate.
Yeah, yeah.